Hi every wise reader. Welcome to the next video from Read Wiser, a YouTube channel dedicated to helping you improve yourself through books. Today, we're diving deep into the timeless wisdom of How to Win Friends and Influence People by the legendary Dale Carnegie. What if I told you that 85% of your financial success has almost nothing to do with your technical knowledge? Research from the Carnegie Foundation found that only 15% of success comes from technical skill, while a staggering 85% comes from skill in human engineering, your personality, and your ability to lead people. Think about that. We spend years in school learning technical skills, but almost no time learning the one skill that actually determines our success and happiness. Dale Carnegie wrote this book to fill that exact gap. He argues that you can fundamentally change your life, not by changing others, but by changing how you approach them. The core idea is simple. Stop criticizing and start understanding. Today we'll break down the timeless principles that have made this book a global phenomenon for nearly a century. How to Win Friends and Influence People wasn't just a random idea. It was a direct response to a massive, unfulfilled need. Dale Carnegie was running adult education courses in New York, and he realized that the business professionals in his classes, while technically skilled, were often failing because they didn't know how to handle people. He saw that dealing with people is the biggest problem we face, and the research backed him up. Studies from the Carnegie Foundation showed that even in technical fields, 85% of your financial success comes from skill in human engineering, your personality and your ability to lead, while only 15% comes from technical knowledge. Major survey on adult education confirmed this. It found that after health, adults' biggest interest was people. They wanted to know how to understand them, make them like you, and win them to your way of thinking. Yet when Carnegie looked for a practical working manual on the subject, he found nothing. So he wrote one himself. But he warns us right from the start, this is an action book. You can't just read it. The only way to get any real benefit is to have what he calls the magic requirement. A deep, driving desire to learn and a vigorous determination to apply these principles every single day. You're not just acquiring knowledge, you're attempting to form entirely new habits. This requires what Carnegie calls a constant and vigorous campaign of review and application. As we go through these ideas, don't just listen. Think about how you can use them starting today. The book is built on a clear foundation. First, we'll learn the 3 fundamental techniques of handling people. Then we'll explore 6 ways to make people genuinely like you. After that, we'll cover the powerful principles for winning people to your way of thinking. And finally, we'll look at how to be a true leader by changing people without causing offense. The entire foundation of Dale Carnegie's philosophy rests on 3 fundamental techniques. If you get these 3 right, everything else becomes easier. The first and most important principle is, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Carnegie is absolute about this. He says criticism is futile because it puts the other person on the defensive and wounds their precious pride. It doesn't create lasting change. It only creates resentment. He points out that 99 times out of 100, people don't criticize themselves for anything, no matter how wrong they are. He uses the example of infamous criminals like Two Gun Crowley and Al Capone. Both of them, from behind bars, saw themselves as misunderstood public benefactors. Crowley wrote that, "Under my coat is a weary heart, but a kind one." Al Capone said, "I have spent the best years of my life giving people the lighter pleasures, and all I get is abuse." If murderers and gangsters don't blame themselves, what chance do you have of making an average person accept your criticism? So if criticism doesn't work, what does? This brings us to the second principle, the big secret of dealing with people. Give honest and sincere appreciation. This isn't about cheap flattery. Carnegie makes a critical distinction between the two. Flattery, he says, is counterfeit. It's selfish, it's from the teeth out, and discerning people will spot it a mile away. Appreciation, on the other hand, is sincere. It's from the heart out, unselfish, and universally admired. Why is this so powerful? Because as Carnegie says, the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. It's this craving to be appreciated that separates us from animals. It's the one heart hunger that is almost never fully gratified. The rare individual who honestly satisfies this hunger will hold people in the palm of his hand. The third fundamental technique is to arouse in the other person an eager want. This is the only way on earth to influence someone. It is the only way to get anyone to do anything. You have to stop talking about what you want. Instead, you must talk about what they want and show them how to get it. Carnegie uses a simple analogy. When you go fishing, you don't bait the hook with the strawberries and cream you like. You bait it with the worm that the fish wants. It's the same with people. If you want to persuade someone, you have to frame your idea from their point of view and appeal to their desires. First, arouse in the other person an eager want. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who cannot walks a lonely way. So the takeaway from this section is clear. To handle people, you must stop criticizing, give sincere appreciation, and appeal to their wants. This forms the bedrock of the entire philosophy. But once you have this foundation, how do you actively get people to like you? What are the specific daily actions you can take to build genuine rapport? Let's find out in the next part, as we explore the 6 ways to make people like you. Once you've mastered the fundamental techniques, the next step is to build active friendships and goodwill. Carnegie gives us 6 principles for this, and they all revolve around one central theme, making the other person the focus of the interaction. Here it's about being impressed, not impressive. The first principle is to become genuinely interested in other people. This isn't a trick. You must actually, sincerely, be interested. Carnegie famously said, "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you." He tells a story of his dog Tippy, who made a living by giving you nothing but love. The dog was so genuinely excited to see him, it would jump out of its skin. That's the level of genuine interest we should aim for. The second and third principles are simple but incredibly powerful. Smile and remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. A genuine smile is a messenger of your goodwill. It communicates, "I like you. I'm glad to see you," without saying a word. And using a person's name is a subtle, powerful compliment. It says, "You are an individual, and you are important enough for me to remember." Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate, built an empire by remembering the names of his workers. He knew this was not a small thing. The next principle is perhaps the most overlooked. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. So many of us are just waiting for our turn to talk. We're so concerned with what we're going to say next that we don't truly hear the other person. Carnegie says to give the speaker rapt attention. Ask them questions they will enjoy answering. Remember, the people you are talking to are 100 times more interested in themselves, their wants, and their problems than they are in you and your problems. A person's toothache means more to them than a famine that kills 1 million people. Being a good listener is one of the highest compliments you can pay. This leads directly to the 5th principle. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Theodore Roosevelt was a master at this. He would famously stay up late reading about whatever subject he knew his next day's visitor was passionate about, whether it was cowboys or astronomy. He knew the royal road to a person's heart is to talk about the things they treasure most. Finally, Carnegie wraps all these ideas into one all-important law of human conduct. Make the other person feel important, and do it sincerely. This is the single rule that, if obeyed, will bring you countless friends. It's about recognizing the true worth of every person you meet and letting them know it. In short, the secret to being liked is to be sincerely and completely focused on the other person. Be interested in them. Remember their name, listen to their stories, and make them feel important. But what happens when you don't just want to be liked? What happens when you need to actively change someone's mind about something? How do you persuade them without starting a fight? Let's find out in the next chapter as we learn how to win people to your way of thinking. This section is the core of the book's influence promise. How do you win someone to your way of thinking? The first, most crucial principle is a paradox. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Carnegie is blunt. He says you can't win an argument. If you lose it, you've lost. But if you win it, you've made the other person feel inferior. You've hurt their pride and you've made them resent your triumph. So you've still lost in the long run. As he says, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Instead of arguing, you must show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say you're wrong. That's a direct blow to their ego. Instead, use diplomatic phrases like, well, now look, I thought otherwise, but I may be wrong. I frequently am. Let's examine the facts. This disarming approach makes people open-minded, not defensive. And on the flip side, if you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. This stops the argument before it starts and makes the other person feel generous and forgiving. The next step is to begin in a friendly way. Carnegie quotes Lincoln, "A drop of honey catches more flies than a gallon of gall." Even if you're furious, starting with a gentle, friendly approach will make people far more receptive. This is tied to the Socratic method of getting the other person to say yes, yes immediately. By asking questions you both agree on, you set a positive psychological direction. The more yeses you get at the start, the more likely your opponent is to accept your ultimate conclusion. Two of the most powerful principles here are about letting go of your own ego. First, let the other person do a great deal of the talking. If they still have ideas crying for expression, they won't be able to listen to you. Let them talk themselves out. This acts as a safety valve. Second, let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. People have infinitely more faith in an idea they discover for themselves. Don't ram your solution down their throat. Make suggestions and let them draw the conclusion. A true master of influence doesn't care about getting the credit. They care about getting the result. Finally, you must be empathetic. Try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. Ferret out the reason for their actions. Then be sympathetic with their ideas and desires. Use the magic phrase, "I don't blame you one iota for feeling as you do. If I were you, I would undoubtedly feel just as you do." When you do this, and then appeal to their nobler motives, their desire to be fair, honest, and unselfish, you create a powerful emotional connection that makes persuasion possible. And if that fails, dramatize your ideas with showmanship, or throw down a challenge to appeal to their desire to excel. So, to win someone to your side, you must be the most agreeable person in the room. Avoid arguments. Admit your faults, see their perspective, and guide them to your conclusion in a friendly way that lets them feel the idea was theirs. This is persuasion, but what about leadership? How do you apply these ideas when you're in a position of authority and need to correct someone's mistakes? Let's dive into the final part. How to be a leader who changes people. The final part of the book is about leadership. How do you change people's behavior, like an employee or a child, without arousing resentment? Carnegie says the key is to inspire, not to criticize. The first rule is to begin with praise and honest appreciation. It's like a dentist using Novocaine. The patient still gets the drilling, but the praise deadens the pain. Never start a corrective conversation with the mistake. Always start with what the person is doing right. Next, you must call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. This is a master-level skill. A common mistake is to say, "We're proud of you, Johnny, but your algebra grade is terrible." The but negates the praise. Carnegie says to change but to and. "We're proud of you, Johnny, for raising your grades, and by continuing that same effort, you can bring that algebra grade up, too." This simple word change makes all the difference. A leader must also talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. If you humbly admit that you are far from impeccable, it makes it much easier for the other person to hear about their own faults. It removes the sting of judgment. This goes hand in hand with letting the other person save face. Hurting a person's dignity, Carnegie says, is a crime. Even if we are right and the other person is definitely wrong, we only destroy their ego by causing them to lose face. Always give them a way to retreat with their pride intact. Instead of giving direct orders, a good leader will ask questions. Don't say, "Do this." Say, "Do you think this would work?" Curse, or what do you think of this? This makes the order more palatable, saves the person's pride, and often stimulates their creativity, making them want to do the task because they had a part in the decision. Finally, the most powerful tools for inspiring change are encouragement and reputation. Praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Abilities wither under criticism. They blossom under encouragement and give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. If you tell a bad student, "I understand you're a natural leader. I'm depending on you," that 9-year-old will make prodigious efforts not to let you down. You're giving them a new positive self-image to embody. You must use encouragement and make the faults seem easy to correct. This gives the person confidence and makes them want to improve, rather than destroying their incentive to try. This is the essence of true leadership, inspiring people to want to be better rather than forcing them to. It's the art of building people up, not tearing them down. As we look back on how to win friends and influence people, it's clear that all 30 principles boil down to one central thesis. You can change other people's behavior and win their cooperation by genuinely shifting your own perspective. The entire philosophy is about checking your own ego at the door and seeing the world through other people's eyes. The book is a revolutionary call for empathy in a world that defaults to criticism. It asks you to stop thinking about yourself, your wants, your rightness, your cleverness, and to start thinking about them. What do they want? What are their interests? How can you make them feel important? How can you help them save face? The fundamental shift is from self-centeredness to other-centeredness. The book's principles, like don't criticize, give sincere appreciation, arouse an ego want, be a good listener, and let the other person save face, are all just different applications of this one core idea. Carnegie's lasting message is that success in every part of life, from business to your home, is not about being the most powerful or the most correct person in the room. It's about being the most understanding, empathetic, and appreciative. By genuinely valuing others, you not only make friends, you become a more effective and respected person. That is the true path to influence. What's the one principle from this book that you're going to try to apply this week? Is it to stop criticizing or to be a better listener? Maybe it's just to remember to use a person's name. Let us know your favorite takeaway in the comments below. If you found this summary valuable, please give it a like and subscribe to Read Wiser for more breakdowns of life-changing books. Thanks for watching.